So our first pose is the contact pose. Before I'm going into that, let me just slide this away for now. Before we jump into that, I'm going to make a control set. I'll just hide everything, so everything's gone, and then Alt 2 and Alt 1, that's our rig. So select everything, maybe not the two bottom ones. Create sets, quick selection set, and then all Kaylee. And this will make sure we can easily select everything. So we can easily select everything and also key everything. So we're going to place keys on everything for our key poses. So the first one is this one, contact pose. So we're going to slide our feet and then our pelvis. So don't over exaggerate these things, so you don't have knee popping. This is what knee popping looks like. It's when you go too far and the knee pops straight. So you have to ease it a bit in. And here we have our back foot, can be somewhere here. And we can already start rolling off our foot by the foot roll. So by pressing and sliding, you can change the value quite easily. Here in the channel box, you can also, just like in our drawing and in the reference, you can see here the foot roll is also appearing, so we can also do this for our character. Let me redo this. Okay, so we're going to go lower and turn a little bit, since we're going forward with our right leg, and then lean a little bit into the right leg, just a tiny bit, and we can place our feet a little bit more centered, since Michaeli is a female character, or a more feminine character at least, and it's obviously a bit stereotypical to do this, but that's how animation is made, to use stereotypes a little bit and make the audience believe more stuff. As you can see here in the reference, the foot is also a little bit going outwards, so we're going to do the same thing right here. So it's going to be a little bit aiming outwards. And same thing for this foot. It doesn't have to be completely straight. You can put it a bit like this, or like this, depending on how you like it. It's a bit more detail, which always helps in these cases. We're not going to go into our upper body yet. We're going to focus purely on our pelvis and our feet. Next up is the down position, like we've drawn here, or at frame number 4. You've drawn it at 3, it seems here. At 3. The down position is where we're going, obviously even more or even lower the body. We're going to already bring back front foot, so it's straightening out a bit better, like so, and releasing, well, almost putting the foot roll back to 0. And we're going even further with our leg that's behind and increase the foot roll even more. We're going to turn back to where we came from, since we're not going really far anymore. Coming back. We can actually start using the hips for this as well. So let's add them in the first pose as well. And then here, you can copy it over by middle mouse S. And just slightly turn this back. Next up is our pausing position, which you have drawn at frame 7. You can see that we also should remove the rotation from our foot that's on the ground. Yeah. This we can keep for now, this rotation, until we're in the air. So don't forget to key everything for now. So select everything with a quick selection S, and then we're going to go to frame S again. And now create the pausing position. So put the foot below the pelvis. You can put this height at least on 0. Can be even a little bit higher. Well, it's already pretty high right now. And the pausing position obviously has our foot pausing. So put it somewhere here. Move these rotations. I'm going to reset this for now. And if I move this to this side, it will already look a lot better, because now it feels like our character is out of balance, is off balance, because the center of gravity is not being supported completely. We have to lean in to the supporting foot right here. We can easily check these kind of things with the blue pencil. If you just draw a straight line, and if you would rotate now, if you would just check like this, you can see now from the center of the body and go down, it's still not there yet. This looks already a little bit better. We have to check for that it's completely supported under the heel. So this looks fine now, and we can add some hip movement as well. A lot of people probably think, well, this leg is raising, so we have to raise this hip, but actually that's not the case. It's the other way around, because all the weight is going to go on the right leg of Michele. This will go up because of the pressure, and because there is some loose weight on the other side, it will go down. And that's what actually happens here. So it's really important that you know why these things are happening and that you implement them as such. So we can rotate this foot as little detail as well to the outside, like so. Yeah. All right, that's maybe a bit high for a walk. It's gonna be a bit more like this. Yeah, so just above ground. So this is the most extreme pose for our hip, the highest one. Okay, that already looks like our reference as such. You can see my foot is really dangling here to the outside. I think it looks better like this. Okay, don't forget to key everything. So let's see, maybe we can also put this a little bit closer, and maybe we should also put this then a bit closer to the body as well. So let's have a look. We have -2 here as well, so maybe -2.5, maybe -3, and the same thing here. It's the X, so we can just do this, and then -3. And now it's a bit more logical if you put this as well a little bit closer to our character. Okay. Don't forget to check for popping. Okay, that's the maximum we can do right now. And the next one is at frame 10. This is our up position where our body is the highest, and after that we're going to go lower again. Now the first thing that we will do is slide our foot already a bit to the left and start to introduce already a little bit of foot roll. And then we can up our pelvis even more. This foot is going to come out and starting to reach for, well, the falling forward. Going to continue the movement a little bit outwards, but come like this, forward like so. And the hip is going to start to shift back and start to favor the left leg slowly. A bit higher. Okay. Also, I would recommend just to select all your controllers and put them on stepped mode. So now it only shows where you have keyed your animation. Otherwise, if you don't do this and you just let it automatically interpolate for you, it will always look better than it actually is. So if you would just put this on stepped, you can really focus on the frames that you're working on and make sure they look great, each and one of them. We haven't touched the knees that much. Here we can, yes, make it more outwards, because here as well it's a bit weird. But your knees in general should be aiming towards the same direction as your feet are aiming to. So. But in this rig, they already move along a little bit. As you can see, if I would do this, the pull vector, which is this controller, is already rotating with you at the same time, which is quite nice. Right, let's key everything. Maybe this is already a bit far. Coming more like this. Next up is our second contact pose, and actually it's the same as our first one, but mirrored. So what we can do is actually just copy and paste everything from 1 to 13. So just scroll to 1 with everything selected, middle mouse button on 13 and press S. Now we can see that we have the same pose here, and we should just invert this position. So we need to recreate the same but mirror it. Okay, so if we look here at the top, we can just put for the rotation a minus, and now it's inverted. Same thing for the hip. So that's quite easy. Well, here we can actually just copy and paste it on this one, and then the same thing. So now we have the front here, which is now at the back, and now we want to copy the front, copy and paste it on this controller. So, and now we have almost the entirely reversed, mirrored animation. The only thing that's going to be different is the rotation, because we have a small rotation right here, this one, from 5 degrees. Oh, and it's already perfectly. I thought we had to put a minus here as well, but as we can see, we don't need to minus because the rig is created so it already knows there's a difference between left and right and takes into account that thus both values are gonna be mirrored compared to each other. So if I would, yes, so if you are in object mode and would rotate from this one to the right, the other one will automatically go to the left if you have both selected, obviously. So it has already been processed in the rig that these are mirrors of each other, which is great. So now we have the same pose completely mirrored on frame 13. So back to step mode. And then we're going to do the same thing over and over again, since we did now half a cycle, and everything after this is going to be things that we have already done, but the mirrored version. So now we will have to mirror frame 3 on frame 16. Let's jump right in. Now we know what's coming. You can just copy everything. So select everything, then select 3, 7, 10, right click, copy, and then I just paste them. So here we go. And then we know for a loop, our first position is going to be the same as the last position. So we can just copy one, and last, well, I like to do it this way. It's my favorite way to do it. Just go to the frame that you have, middle mouse button, the frame that you are expecting or wanted to copy towards to, and press S. So now it's the same. So, and now we know 16, 20, and 23 have the values that we want them to have, but mirrored again. So we can just select our hips right here, and then we know we want to mirror the rotations for 16, 20, and 23. So select these values, double click here, or just backspace it, and then we're going to do some math. So we will just multiply by -1. So the code that we have right now is multiply equal -1. Press enter, and now, as you can have seen, these values have now flipped, because we have flipped the values from a positive to negative, or the other way around, by multiplying it by -1. Same thing for the rotations here. Multiply by -1. All right. Then the only thing that's left for us to do is to mirror our feet again. So just the same way as we did before. Maybe this part will be sped up, but it's the same thing. So we're going to take the values from frame 3 and then paste them on the other foot on 16. And the same for 20 and the same for 23. Okay, now I'm going to select everything again, put it on step mode, and then we're going to have something like this. Nope, there's something that we forgot to mirror, which is our balancing. So we know we are at the up, going to the side, and then at 13 we're back at 0, and then here we should be flipped as well. So we have here our values on the X, 13. So this should be flipped. Multiply is equal by -1. And yes, this makes a lot more sense now. And by seeing that, I think the value is a bit too much, so we will reduce it to 3 and -3. Now we can focus on tweaking these poses before we continue, because it's really important that we are happy with these key poses. Okay, I think we're going a bit too far to the outside on these on these poses. I'm going to tilt everything a bit more towards the inside. It's actually even easier if we do it here and then work on this. So these are the mirrored versions of each other. So I think here it's going too wide, and this is also going too wide. I think can be a bit closer, and this as well. Here we see a small mistake. Should make sure that our values of the x of this one are coherent when we are touching the ground. So here it's -3. So here we're start to touch the ground. Here as well. So it should be all -3. And we'll check for this one as well. So again, same problem. This should be -3. Okay. And then we can see we are over exaggerating this. Simplify this as well. Again, we can do another mathematically solution is by multiplying by 0.5, and it will take half. And I'm going to adjust the rotation of y here as well. So these are those two. This is from the left leg, this is the right leg, and I'm going to squeeze them a bit better like this. I should make sure I'm selecting both of them. Okay. I'm going to on 0 again. This one as well, which already are. A bit better like this. I should make sure I'm selecting both of them. Okay. Put these values on 0 again. This one as well, which already are. So this has foot roll of 6. Copy. Paste. Yeah. So make sure you can just check that your first and your last one are perfectly the same, which in this case they aren't. So copy and then paste them again. Okay, and then same for 3 and 16. You can actually easily check by going into side view. Maybe we can even take the right view to the right view, sorry, the left view. So hold space, press left button, hold, and go to left view. And now we can really check. It's a lot easier. Seven and 20. 10 and 23. And 13 and 25. Okay, cool. I'm going to retime a little bit to even out everything here. So I think I'm going to put 20 on 19 and 23 on 22 and 3 on 4. So now everything is a bit more divided and equal. So now we're animating on trees, which you can find in a lot of books for a basic walk cycle. This is the most common way to do it, and it still matches our reference more than enough. It's actually still very close. It's only adjusting one frame, so it's not going to make that big of a difference, but it makes the animation more balanced, which is really important. So you can already play this once if you want, but you can see there's like a real weird hold up, and that's because 1 and 25 is the same frame. So you should just take either this slider, put on 24 if you want to play your animation, so it skips the last frame and it keeps the motion going. So that's what we have for now, and sorry, a very good start for animating a walk cycle. Like I said, I like to work in step mode, but some people like to work in a more spline mode. Then you can just select everything and press D for default, or press this A button, and then you will see I will do the in-betweens for our animation right here. So this is something that you should have by now. It's still a little wonky at some point, but that's because we still haven't cleaned anything. But it's all part of creating some animation, and that's why I like to work in steps, so we can just focus on our frames and don't worry about the wonky parts yet. So next up is cleaning and cycling all the movements. Okay, so if you have this or something that looks like this, we can go into spline mode. The reason that we are going into spline mode, it's an easier way to start cleaning our jiggly things like I was talking about, it's wonky movement, because it gives us a way to see how Maya is interpolating some curves. As you can see, we can smooth out some things right here, and that's what we're going to do next before we are going to the upper body. It's more important that we are cleaning the bottom of the body correctly. So that's next.